Welcome to the Think Generational Wealth Podcast, episode number 37, and I'm your host, Amir Estimo. And today's episode is titled, Why is it important to know your why for building generational wealth? Now, this is going to be a three-part episode, probably about 10, maybe 15 minutes tops each. And I will be also closing out season two of this podcast and move into season three, where I'm in the process of trying of moving my podcast to Buzzsprout. So if you're listening to this episode and you also have a podcast, I would love to know what platform are you using to distribute your podcast or host your podcast. So if you can reply to me at thinkgenwealth at gmail.com. Once again, you can reply back to me at thinkgenwealth at gmail.com. Also, do me a favor, rate and subscribe to this podcast, leave a review so we can get this message out regarding generational wealth. So, if you have an iPhone, on that purple app called Podcast, go on there, search for Think Generational Wealth, leave a review. Whether it's good or bad, it's only going to make me better. It's called feedback. So, I have no problem with that. Let me know what could I do better to better serve you. Also, what am I doing that's I should continue doing. Any review is a good any review, whether it's good or bad, it's only going to make me better, and we can get this message out. So please help me and rate and review this podcast. Also subscribe to the podcast. As now I'm getting back to the focus. The last few weeks I've been on the road, been busy, launching a new business venture, a digital marketing business. So if you ever need any type of logo design, website built, also you want any banners, flyers, anything for your business when it comes to the design, you can reach me at amir.estimo at estimoholdings.com. Name of the company is called Thrival Digital. So we'll be right here for you. Okay. Thank you. And that's that. So the reason I'm doing this three-part episode is now we just closed out the first quarter of the year. So if you do the math so far, I think we've done what's 31 to 62 plus 28. We are 90 days into the 2021. So I was really going to title this episode, Where Are You When It Comes to Your Goals of 2021? But I think the importance of knowing your why is really important. So there's three questions I have. Each episode is going to have its own question, and I'll talk a little bit in depth into that. Also, like I said, this is a three-part episode, so you'll get episode one today, as today is what, April 1st now. So like I said, we just closed out March 31st. So now we are 90 days into the new year. So right now, well, we're in 276 days to go. So it's crazy. Maybe with 275 if you really do the math. But we are now 275 days left of 2021. So December 31st, most people, right, believe they write down their goals and this is what they're going to accomplish in 2021. Now, it's already been said, we know how bad 2020 was. But not only if you just only writing your goals down, you're putting in paper, you're not taking action towards your goals, then all you're really doing is wasting time, right? So I figure in this episode, we can cover the importance of why, because everybody's why is different. So the first question in today's episode I'm asking is, how are you keeping up with your goals? Now, you have to determine your why, right? So we all have to know, what is why? Why are we doing what we're doing? Is it starting a new business, learning a new skill? Whatever that may be to you is You got to know why you're doing that. Now, let's say you're a high school student. Is it filling out college applications? Because we all know right now we're getting towards the end of the 9 weeks in here in the U.S. So high schoolers are now going to be transitioning to college. Some of them will. Some will be going out into the workforce, into the real world, looking for jobs. Some will be starting entrepreneurial ventures. You got to know why you're doing any of this stuff. Because if you're just doing it just to do this, then your why, the reason you're doing it you won't be motivated to do it. Now, someone may ask me, why am I doing what I'm doing? Now, I'm involved in three projects. Last year, I had probably five or six, but I had to narrow it down because one, I want to keep up with this podcast because I believe to me is podcasting is something I enjoy doing. I don't do it for the money, but the reason why I do it is because I believe generational wealth is so important a topic to discuss, whether it's financially, where we're talking about it on the spiritual aspect, mental aspect, is it's a conversation that doesn't happen very often. And sometimes it's so sad to see that when someone pass away and you they don't leave nothing for the next generation to progress, right? Now, the other day, I was having a conversation at my job with my team lead, and we were talking about our development plan. And I told him the reason why, one of my reasons why for me, I've had two team leads, and I've had the same dialogue with both of them at extent, meaning the conversation we've had is I know at my job, what I'm doing right now is short term. But my long term goal is I want to be able to build a virtual assistant, start a virtual assistant digital marketing company in Nigeria. So I started doing this actually. I met with a partner of mine, and he's in Nigeria. And I have a team that I've already worked with in Nigeria where we're starting to do logo designs for other small businesses, right? The reason so once we do that, I do that, then I want to be able to open one in Haiti, another digital marketing virtual assistant company, and also probably open one up in probably Brazil. That'll be another one location I would like to open. And I like to have those three and probably even open one up in Jamaica. So I have one more country in mind, but probably the top four is Africa, Haiti, Brazil, and Jamaica. Okay, and I want to be able to expand this brand and be able to help create jobs in the economy because it's sad when you hear here I am in the US, I have all these opportunities, but when you go into these third world countries, these kids don't have the opportunities that I have to my disposal. So, what better yet way to give back? Because I believe I'm put here for a reason. And my reason is to be able to give back and provide help to the economy. So, if this is a way for it to happen, for me to grow out this digital marketing company and being able to provide jobs, change lives, help help push the next generation, then this is it, right? So this is my why. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So for you, you have to figure out why you're doing what you're doing. Now, how are you keeping up with your goals? So for me, I have a self journal and I have an actual journal. So I have two self journal and an actual journal. So you say, well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is the journal is write down my thoughts. So whether it's good or bad, whatever I'm going through, I'm writing it down in my journal. My self journal is basically a journal where I have where I plan out my day. So I plan, it says first, the self journal has, you write down what you're grateful for, then you write down three goals that you hope to accomplish, then you write down your targets. What are you targeting to do? And also, what will make today a great day? So the self journal helps me keep my day aligned. It helps me control my day than the day getting away from me. Okay. And I bought actually basically this was an auto ship. So I got this. So every year I'll be getting a new set. So within this set, there's four self journals, one for every quarter. So right now, April, I'm in the last quarter of this self journal, and there's 12 weeks. And I think the last week is you basically is a reflection of your previous 12 weeks. This is helping me keep track of where I'm at with my goals. How am I getting to it? Because we all know data is king, right? So if you basically use data to keep track of your goals, so let's say, for instance, you're probably at 0%. You can go and check your journal and say, okay, why am I at 0%? Why am I not getting closer? Even if you're at 0.5%, 1%, 2%, anything is better than 0%. So you have this in place, a self journal, to keep track of your goals. Now, that, like I said, that's what works for me. Now, for you, the question is, what do you have in place to help you reach your goals? Do you have anything in place to do that? Because most of us, when we say, okay, we write down our goals, yeah, I want to make, let's say for you, I want to make $100,000 for the year, but that's it. But you got to have things in place to help you keep track of you so you don't get off track when it comes to your goals, right? So building generational wealth, for me, I've gotten into investing. So now I'm investing into the, obviously, the stock market. I have other investments because I want to be able to take these investments to help go build business, go provide more, whether it's marketing for my businesses, right? So I'm involved in three different projects, and I have to be able to have something in place to keep me focused, to keep me saying, okay, I need to keep this focus. I got to have these analytics, this data in place so I can know that how am I balancing out these business? How am I balancing out these goals? So for you, that may be something you could have to figure out to say, okay, what am I doing or am I? Go back and revisit your goal. Go back and take a look. Okay, if I wrote down I want to lose 30 pounds or 50 pounds in 2021, and I go in the scale and I'm nowhere near that, I've only lost zero or I've gained more weight. You have to analyze why. What's going on? Is it what you're is it are you not exercising enough? Where's your focus? Are you eating the right foods, etc.? So then if it's like I want to start a business, well, how what are you doing? Are you getting your name out there? Okay, well, I'm not doing that. Why am I not doing that? And I think that's why it's important to have certain tools in place. Maybe take a look at your calendar and see, okay, in the last 90 days, what did I put on my calendar that was able to help, that was for me, help keep me a track of my goals. So I think that's a very good question for anybody to answer to themselves. And this next three podcast episode is more self reflection. So whoever is listening to this, and if you haven't come across this podcast, take a consideration and go back and look at your goals. Because like I said, we're already 90 days into the new year. So if 2021, we've already finished off January, we finished off February, finished off March, we've already finished a quarter of the year. Go back and revisit your goals and see if you're anywhere close. Even if you're not 50% there, but are you at least 10%? Are you at least 5%? Are you? So if you're nowhere near any of that, look at what look at what you need to do to keep up with your goals. What are you not doing? And then reverse engineer. So hopefully this podcast episode is of value to you. Tune in next week as we go into part 2 of of the of this episode of why is it important to know your why for building generational wealth, right? And the next week's question will be what processes you have in place. So now you know how you're keeping, like, what are you, is there any tools that you have in place? Hit me up also on thinkgenwealth at gmail.com. Hit me up on Instagram at thinkgenwealth. I know my Instagram page right now, it's a it needs more work, but I'm working on it. I want to work on it, and I want to get that message, get that brand out. Okay. All right. Until next week, tune in next week for part 2 of this 3-part series. Thank you. And what should everybody be doing? Generational wealth. I love you guys and have a good one.
Mr. Alex Productions.